And hello, everybody. Good afternoon and welcome to Gratitude Happy Hour. We're so glad you've joined us today. I have some amazing people that are going to talk to us about an upcoming event that I'm so excited about, the 11 Days of Global Unity with We the World. And I have the beautiful Karen Palmer on already with me. Hi, Karen.
Hi.
And Jack Strasberg is with us. Hello, Jack.
Hello.
So what we're going to do right now is play my song. You all that follow Gratitude Happy Hour know this song very well. It's my theme song, Even If the Sky is Falling Down. And then that gives us a chance to share this out and let everybody know we're here. There's Sharon. Sharon, I'm so glad you're with us today.
Teri.
So let's listen to the word. Hi, honey. Let's listen to the words of this song because they're very, very potent. And as we listen to the message of the song, just think of how you are when it feels like the sky is falling down. And let's be encouraged by this song. And while it's playing, just send it out there and let people know that we're on.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know if I'll ever figure out where the road goes. If I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down. Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And I really wanna know if I'll ever figure out where the road goes. Falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down. Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down.
Oh my goodness, I love that song so much. And I love that Rick Olfick has joined us. Hi, Rick, welcome. And to those in our audience virtually, thank you for being here. Catherine, Monsi, Lauren, Charles, Mary Lou, Monsi's here, and Luz. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Gratitude Happy Hour. I am so honored to have the panelist on here right now that I have, and such an amazing, amazing event that's taking place coming up in just a few days. And we're all so excited about it. We the World is so special to me. And the founder of We the World is Rick Ulfik. Rick, welcome.
Wow, it's great to see you. Great to be on with you. This is my first time on your show. This is wonderful. Thank you.
It is, and I'm so honored that you are here with us, and especially for this conversation that we're going to just talk about what we are doing and what are we doing.
Well, I guess we're looking to have at least 11 days of global unity, if not 365 days. But
All right.
you like that, Jack? Thank you.
I like that very much.
So 11 days of global unity started as a response to a tragedy 20 years ago. 20 years ago was the terrorist attacks of 9/11. And by a strange coincidence, on that same day, September 11th, 2001, was scheduled to have a celebration of the International Day of Peace at the opening session of the General Assembly at the UN, because that was their practice up to that point, to celebrate the International Day of Peace on that first day of the General Assembly. There was a push by the civil society in order to put it specifically on September 21st, but that didn't go into effect until 2002. So in 2001, the opening session was on September 11th. It was scheduled for then, and therefore the celebration of the International Day of Peace. And because of the tragedy and everything that happened, that celebration never took place. But then the UN made a resolution putting the International Day of Peace specifically on September 21st. So we looked at that at We the World, and we said, why don't we kind of use that, what just happened there, as a symbol of the journey from fear to hope, where the International Day of Peace was on the day of the tragedy in 2001, and then from 2002 on, it was on September 21st. So we take that span of time from September 11th to September 21st, the International Day of Peace, and we called that 11 Days of Global Unity. And we had a launch event in 2004 that was unbelievable. We had choirs in 80 countries singing a song in every time zone leading up to the launch on September 21st. And the song was called We Rise, written by a woman from the Philippines named Gemma Bulos. So we had 80 countries of choirs singing up to that moment. We had Marianne Williamson and Jane Goodall both appearing at the launch event, both giving keynote addresses to launch it. We had the Federation of World Peace and Love in Taiwan ringing the bell of peace that was broadcast on the by video link for that launch. We had 125 cities doing events simultaneously for the launch of 11 days. And then the following year, we started getting emails from people in February, March. Oh, this is what we're going to do this year for 11 days. And we realized, oh my God, it could happen again. So, and all the people that were involved in the launch, like Desmond Tutu had made a video, and so many honorary co-chairs for the launch, like Deepak Chopra and Barbara Marx Hubbard and Robert Thurman, and a long, long list. They all said, oh, this is great. Let's keep it going. And now it's 17 years later, the 17th anniversary. And so we've got so many things going on. We have the summit, the panels on each of the 11 campaign themes. And those 11 themes grew out of the 11 days. We didn't have these themes at the beginning, but at a certain point, we said, let's create 11 ways that people can transform their world. And I'll just say them quickly. So we have unity, interdependence, environment, economic justice, health, children and youth, human rights, women, human rights, freedom, disarmament, and peace. So all 11 themes, we have campaigns going. We have over 600 organizations that have signed up to collaborate and work on one or more of these themes. And each of the coordinators has created a panel, and Teri is the coordinator for peace. So Teri, you're going to tell us about your panel, right? And I see Sharon is on with the unity panel, and Karen is on with the women's theme and panel, and Jack with economic justice. So we have a good representation here of all the interesting things that are going to be happening. Thank you.
I know, I'm so excited. Rick, thank you for that backstory. I always love to hear the history of how things come to be, how they are. So I really appreciate you sharing that. And I'm just so excited about this year's the Day of Peace. We have a collaboration with Humanity Rising. So at 11 o'clock, each of those 11 days, there will be a panel discussion. And then again at 1 o'clock, each of us who are coordinators will bring together a panel for discussion. And on Peace Day, I'm so excited because also, in addition to the panel that's coming on to discuss, which will include Rick, Karen Palmer, Dr. Marty Casey, Fumi Stewart-Johns, and myself. In addition to that discussion and conversation, I just found out less than an hour ago that our peace pole will be ready for us to place in the ground. And I'm really, really hoping we can do it on the 21st. I'm in touch with the legislator that's going to give us the final okay of the place to do that. And to me, that would be like the highlight of that day. I would love to end it with that. And so just keep that in your prayers and your intentions that will take place on the 21st. But I'm excited because I want to hear from these other people that are here present with us to talk about your campaigns. So Sharon, you're kicking us off with that very first day on September the 11th. Talk to us about what you've got up your sleeve.
Up my sleeve. First, I just want to ask Teri, for International Peace Day, as well as your peace campaign and planting the peace pole, is there any way, and Karen, you might know the answer to this as well, is there any way to identify that or segregate that day with the Hart math way they measure what's going on the earth and the vibrations? I was thinking of two campaigns, disarmament and peace. And I wondered if we could see a trajectory or what was happening around the world energetically on those 2 days.
Yes, we absolutely can, Sharon. Heart Math keeps track every day of the frequency of the planet. The frequency that we are putting out individually goes into the collective frequency of the planet. So they can tell us on any given day what happens, if it rises or if it falls, or if it stays neutral. So I, as an Ed Hart facilitator, I can get in touch with them and say, this is what we're doing, and we'd like to know what those statistics are for those days, or for that whole 11 days. I'd love to see.
I was just going to say, if you
I was
have
just going to say unity,
yeah,
my God.
Go
Yeah.
all the days. That
All
would
the
be
days.
really interesting data and information, Rick, to have as a baseline, right, Karen? And
Definitely.
then, yeah, and then we can see each year which day we want to increase our reach, or which days I mean, all of them we want to increase, but where they are. That would be really cool, I think, to share that information.
Is HeartMath a partner, Rick?
That's a good question, and I don't know the answer to that. But whoever on this team here, whoever is connected with them, let's make it happen.
Yeah, it's a great idea. I love it.
Excellent. So Unity Campaign is the first one, and it happens to fall on Saturday, September 11th this year, which is, as Rick said, the 20th anniversary. I happen to have lived in Arizona at the time of the attacks. However, I had people in the Pentagon and people in New York that I knew. Fortunately, everyone that I knew did survive, but I have such grace and understanding of the loss of life and how it rippled effect over many families. And at the same time, September 12th, in my view and in my experience, was a day where the globe came together to help each other, to commune, to pray, to do things that were a counterbalance to what just happened on the 11th. And I can, as I peruse the internet about the anniversary and the things that people are talking about, I haven't yet seen that same counterbalance. There is a lot of discussion about the event, about how the military dealt with it, how it was handled, how, sad it was, which it was. So for the 11 days as we kick them off on September 11th, the 20th anniversary, I'm choosing to engage in a conversation with the question of, can we become united without a catastrophic event like 9/11? And the surprise I'm getting is many people are engaging with that question. And so far, and I'll talk about the panel in just a quick second, but so far the balance is not exactly equal. I have about, I want to say 70, 60, maybe 60% people that say absolutely no, that we cannot be unified, even with a catastrophic event that unified us 20 years ago. The panel that we're doing on September 11th at 1 p.m., we had a pre-recording with one of our panelists, and Rick, you can please help me out with the name of the organization, but her name is Audrey Kitagawa. And thank you, Rick. Will you share the name of her organization?
I think it's the Academy for Multicultural Cooperation.
Yes, and she gave a beautiful 10-minute speech, really, about her belief and conviction that, yes, we can come together without a catastrophic event. And Teri and Rick and I were also on that pre-recorded panel that will be shown this coming Saturday. And we all agreed emphatically with a yes. And then I had probably about 10% of people that said maybe. So it to me is quite interesting, because as I view that, unity for many people unfortunately means uniformed. And if it does mean that to them, there is no way to come to a yes that we can become united, because many people don't either want to be uniformed with others or misunderstand what that uniformity could mean for the collective whole good of all of us. So on that panel, I'm really excited this Saturday to hear what our viewers have to say, because in my conclusion, if your focus is on the now without awareness that there is a later and a possibility and a hope, then more often than not, your answer will be no, because right now, unity looks bleak. But if you can see what's happening now and retain the hope and the wonder and the recognition that we are in an ebb and a flow, and we always flow, in my view, to the positive and to the unified, then your answer has a better chance to be yes.
Beautiful.
I wanted to pick up on something that you said there that a lot of people may not realize. which is, you said that on September 12th, people came together, right, in response. And
Yes.
it's so interesting about that. That is actually why we call September 12th Interdependence Day.
Ah,
And people did not, I'm sure nobody realizes that because we haven't talked about it that much. An interesting thing happened. We had this idea with some people on the board of We the World to start something called Interdependence Day. And we launched it in September of 2002 at the World Summit on Sustainable Development in Johannesburg, South Africa. And we had a whole invocation ceremony. Someone named Angingak from Greenland led the ceremony, and we launched Interdependence Day. And then we were contacted by someone that named Benjamin Barber. And Benjamin Barber had done a whole lot of work on interdependence. And he had his team looking around the world for other groups that were doing interdependence. And we then collaborated after he contacted us. And one of the things that he wanted to do was put Interdependence Day on September 12th because of that happening on September 11th, where the world came together on September 12th and realized our interdependence. He was very much into this idea of conscious interdependence, which is, like, we are totally interdependent, and yet many people don't realize it. So the goal is to become conscious of your interdependence in the world. So just thought you might find that interesting.
it's so intriguing that we're getting history this year, the 17th celebration of the 11 days. Thank you, Rick. That was awesome.
I love it. Thank you so much, Sharon and Rick. And yes, I think, when I was training as an Hart facilitator to learn the heart-brain coherence, I was shown the graph and, the frequency that goes out. And there was this big spike. And Greg Braden was the teacher. And he says, "What do you think that was?" And immediately I knew, I didn't have to think. I'm going, that was 911, wasn't it? And it was. And it just shows everybody coming together in that compassion that was flowing out in our world, all over the world, not just in America, but throughout the universe. So yeah, I'm interested to see what happens there too with when we come together and we bring, this is going to be global. It's 11 days of global unity. So I'm very excited about it. And I want to go to Karen. Karen, your campaign is Women, Families, and Allies. And please talk to us about that.
Well, this is, so interesting that all of this history is coming up. It's so beautiful because what we are doing with We the World is expanding the women's campaign to include allies and families so that it can be more inclusive. So this will be this year we have an incredible panel of beautiful, beautiful people who are really just kind of have their boots to the ground and are out there in the world. And we're going to answer the question, how do we have a world that works for all of us? And how do we answer that question? And Antoinette Hall, Ruth's daughter, and Luigi Bartomino are going to be doing a short presentation for us about the Urantia book and how we can really start to see these beautiful ways that we are interdependent on each other. And it's so beautiful. The 11 days and the 11 themes are so, and then we have Sandy Hart, who is the president of SARA, which is the Spiritual and Religious Alliance for Hope. Talk about somebody who is just been in there for all the years. You know, I'm going on 20 years, just like Rick, you know, I believe that the September 11th was a huge wake-up call for many of our nonprofit organizations to realize that we can't do this on our own. We need each other. And unfortunately, there was, in 20 years ago, there was a kind of a stipulation that, you know, nonprofit organizations didn't work together because we were all kind of in competition for grants and, you know, and when I met Rick and I saw what We the World was doing, I think this was in 2015, Rick, when I came into as part of the team and saw the 11 days of global unity and saw these 11 themes, it was just so incredible. And I've met so many incredible people. We also have Jumana, and she is going to be talking about peace lights. And so all of our panel, and Rick will be there with me also, so that we can really talk about this real solution of creating a world that works for all of us. So I'm excited for the panel. I'm so excited for the summit. And as I said, you know, 20 years ago, no schools were talking about this stuff. There was really no environmental education program. Social emotional learning was not even a word. It wasn't even, you know, I think what Sharon said about asking, does it take a catastrophe like what we've experienced to wake up our planet? I think it is taking that. But now I just had a wonderful conversation with Kendra from Kokori app. And, you know, they are doing such wonderful, wonderful work to help to create experiential education on an app for teachers and schools. And, you know, we need social emotional learning. We need experiential education. We need environmental education. We need a whole new system to bring in more of this conscious interdependence awareness, as Rick was saying. And so, like I said, I think our Women and Allies and Families theme campaign that we have, that we'll be talking about in the summit, will lead into that interdependence, because we are interdependent on each other. And we need men and women to come together, and we need families to work together. And we need everyone to work together to solve these large issues and to help create a world that works for all of us.
And I like your t-shirt.
Hey, and I got that on the back.
The Declaration of Interdependence.
Oh, I love it.
And I wrote a song about it, and I put it in my musical coloring book that I have for the 11 days of global unity. So, and we're going to have a We store, right, Rick, that's coming up. That's
Sharon is on that store, right, Sharon?
Yeah, Karen, how fun.
Yeah, so we have the song that goes along with the signing of the signing of the Declaration of Interdependence. I encourage everyone to go to we.net and sign that declaration, because when we start to talk about these conversations, we can bring this to the schools. When we go to talk to the schools, we can, like, I'm going to be doing 11 days with Kokori and Peace Pals and We the World. I'll be doing, for Kokori, we have 11 activities that are going to be for the 11 days of global unity. So I'll be doing a short live stream a day sharing about the activity and the content creator, so that people can see what Kokori app has to offer. And beautiful Teri Angel has the incredible land blessings. And I was saying that I think it would be wonderful to see schools doing land blessings together, you know, and having kindergartners and preschoolers and, you know, having so Teri did a beautiful job at creating on the app land blessing that is family friendly, that is, you know, something that families can do or schools can do. Teri, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes, and Karen, thank you so much for thinking of that and connecting me with the founders of Kokori. And we now have, it's developing, it's not totally ready to roll out yet, but we now have the information there for any child anywhere. They don't even have to be here in America, they can be anywhere in the world, for them to work through these steps to find their own stone that they're going to pour their energy into and place that in the ground with the intention that it's going to communicate throughout the world to bring more peace over the land. And there's all the information of what I do when I do a land blessing, which I just did one 2 days ago. It was amazing and powerful here in Massachusetts. But they have the information now and they can follow those steps and do a land blessing wherever they're at. And my vision is to create a virtual map to show where all of them are doing their land blessings, not just them, but anybody that wants to do one can take that information and do land blessings in your part of the world. I'm so excited that that's being offered to children, especially for them to start right away respecting and honoring Mother Earth and bringing forth that energy of peace. I think that's an important part of the puzzle. And thank you, Karen, for bringing that forward.
Yeah, I had a really great meeting with Kendra about the 11 days of global unity and being able to share these activities. There's beautiful activities, really fun ideas. And I think that it's going to be an incredible way for families to have more communication with each other. It's just such a huge opportunity for families, for classrooms, for youth organizations. It's just such a great opportunity to be a part of this 11 Days of Global Unity. I just am so honored and humbled to be a part of this beautiful, beautiful vision that Rick had.
Well, I think we're fortunate to have you on our team. You bring so much to the world, Karen. Thank you for all you do. And I want to go to Jack. Jack, please talk to us about your campaign. And I want to get your campaign correct. It's economic justice. You are the campaign coordinator, correct?
Correct. And well, first of all, I want to mention to Karen that it was interesting to hear you talk about the Urantia. It's about, I think it was around 40 years ago that I found the Urantia book, or somebody gave it to me, and I read about 100, maybe 200 pages. I didn't finish it, but I thought it was one of the best books on the topic that existed, and I still kind of think that it seemed like it was.
I love Antoinette and Luigi's presentation. It's going to be so beautiful. I can't wait for everyone to see it. I'm so excited.
And that's going to be on your 11-day thing?
Yeah, on the 17th is Women's and Families and Allies. Yeah, and it'll be at 1 o'clock Eastern time, 10 a.m. Pacific.
And that's where I am. How did you know, huh? Well, anyway, so it's called Econ Justice. And there's a lot of issues with economic justice. From people starving to death, to people, the poor people's camp not having health insurance, and you could go on and on, not being paid a wage that they can live on and things. So my approach is a little different than taking it issue by issue. The idea is that we kind of looks at its mission is to create a world that works for all. And my thinking, and I think it's most people would probably agree, is that if we're going to have a world that works for all, we really need an economy that works for all. So to me, rather than address it issue by issue, let's take the bigger picture. Let's build an economy that works for all. And obviously poor people and all the, the disadvantaged people, they're part of the all, so we got to make sure they get included in this. And obviously that is the idea to do that. And it's something that's a little difficult oftentimes when you're dealing with groups that are into unity or love and peace and various things. It seems like the one issue that not that many people really want to get involved in is economics. It seems like if you look at the world list of partners, I think you will find that the number of people who named economy as the first one is much lower than just about any other campaign there. But I really feel that there's some things that we need to do, that if we don't have an economy that works for all, it's pretty hard to have the other things. I mean, basically your economy, that's food and shelter. The two absolutely primary things, education and health. So anyway, I thought, well, I'll join the economic campaign because I've been involved in economic type activities forever. I had what do I call it? Kind of a project that I was working on since, I started dealing with it, but not as a full-time thing, but something that I was thinking of and writing about back in 1974 was creating a new paradigm. My kind of thing is that if we want to do this, we got to all come together and create the world we want to live in. It's like, I don't know how many of you have heard of the Next System Project, and they come out of the Democracy Collaborative, and the co-founder is a guy named Gar Alperowitz, who once upon a time was the kind of the central person or the person in charge of the entire, I guess Democratic, I don't think Democrats and Republicans got together, but in Congress, all the staffers and volunteers. Anyway, they came up with what 4 or 5 years ago, what I came up with 45 years ago, is that the system is broken. And not only is it broken, it's broken beyond repair. We really got to build a new one, or as they call it, the next one. Of course, my activist friends, when I mention the idea that the economy being broken, they look at me and say, come on, Jack, you've been around long enough. Economy's not broken. It's doing quite well for the people who built it and run it. And of course, there's a lot of truth in that. And so the idea is that if we want that new world, we are basically going to have to create it ourselves, because the people who are running the old one, they got what they want. They're not into changing that around. So how do we do that? And I guess what I start looking at is, all right, it's a kind of a permaculture concept. You deal with what's already working. And there are various organizations throughout the world. The New Economy Coalition, the Solidarity Economy Network, and that's what they call it in the US. So it's called, I'm losing the name that they call it, but it's a worldwide organization. And there's, the US, United States Federation of Worker-Owned Cooperatives. So there's a lot of others. There's quite a few people out there doing it. It seems like a large amount, of course, compared to the whole population, it's fairly small, but it is happening. So we have to support those folks. And the economy is built around business, buying and selling, and it's got some other things as well, and how you treat people and things. But that's basically what the economy is up to, and the money kind of thing. And so, when you're looking at that, we got to look at, okay, so how do you support people that are trying to build up businesses and make a living? And it really comes down to, well, you patronize them, you buy from them, you purchase. And so the idea that I have come up with is to identify the places that are already doing that. And there's a lot of them. And most of us maybe haven't heard of before. But when you're dealing with that, you need to kind of figure out how you're going to finance that, because the people that are into the economy, it's already there. It's big time money. You have people now in the hundreds of billions of dollars. So how do we do that? And I guess what I look at is, like, most of us don't have a lot of investment money, because you pick out these people, they can almost all use investment kind of money of some sort, grants, loans and donations and things of that nature. And most of us don't have a lot of money to do that with. So the way I look at it is that what we do have a lot of money doing is that almost all of us spend tens of thousands of dollars a year on goods and services, on our wants and desires. And that's our wealth, basically. That is our wealth. And I guess if handled properly, at least the way I look at it, if we handle that properly, that can be our investment capital as well. And so what this project is basically about is, how do we get the movement for a better world? And what I call that our natural constituency. If I was a business, these are the people that you would expect to support me. The people who are also working on a world that works for all. And so the idea comes up that we really need to get ourselves very well organized and coordinated and collaborative, because I think most people would love to, support businesses, ethical businesses, as we oftentimes call them, or conscious businesses. But it's a difficult thing, because they're often hard to find. You don't know who is who for sure, who's really ethical and who isn't. And sometimes it's just inconvenient. It's a long ways away. How do you reach them? How do you buy those goods? So it's not an easy thing, in a sense. So the light bulb went off when I started thinking about that, thinking, well, that's the idea. That's the niche that alternative economic, well, I call alternative economics, for economic justice. That's the niche that we could fill, is how do we get these people together? How do we make it easy? Because we don't do it very well. We don't patronize businesses, ethical businesses that well. And like, for the reasons I already stated, it's just not easy. And so the idea is to make it easy. And there are ways of doing that. And I was going to get bogged down, still will to some extent, into a number of major complicated databases and let everybody know what's going on. And then I remember when we were talking about that, Rick mentioned, well, why don't we revive the We store? Of course, at that time, I didn't know that we ever had a store, or was thinking about building a store. But I thought, wow, what an idea. Having a store could make this, getting the buyers and sellers together. And, I talk about getting ethical buyers and sellers together. Well, the buyers don't have to be ethical. We'll take their money and we'll put it in the ethical side of the ledger. and in return, we'll give them friendly, fine, good service. But anyway, so the idea is that, well, you look at Amazon. So what I call the we store is the loving and caring alternative to Amazon. I mean, Bezos has made $180 billion off of that, I think more by now. So we know that that kind of a thing can work, and it can work nationally, and I think they're international too. I suppose they must be. So that, it's going to take a while. I mean, we just got the store to the point where we can open and start handling goods. But anyway, that's a really, really big part of this right now, is putting together the we store so that we can get buyers and sellers together and make it easy and convenient. And as we make it easy and convenient, the expectation is the number of people that are going to do it, and do it in a committed and focused way. Because if we don't do it in a committed and focused way, it's not going to make a significant difference in what's going on. So that has to be a big part of it. And to go on with that a little bit here is the store is a big thing, but what we need to do is realize, well, I think we do realize, those of us who have tried to buy ethically, so there just really isn't a large number of ethical stores out there. And there's a lot of goods and services. You put together an ethical situation or store or an alternative currency, and you have a lot of people in the care industry, or care people, or people that are doing spiritual kind of things, and massages and art, and what's all good stuff. But there's just a lot of things that aren't being done. So basically what it comes down to is we really have to vastly increase the number of people and stores and locations that are doing that, putting that together and putting those stores together. And the way I look at it, if we can get organized enough, what we do is put out surveys and say, okay, all you people in the movement that's working for a better world, what kind of products do you use? What do you need? What do you want? What do you desire? Let us know. But with that knowledge of what it is you want, we really need a commitment that if we figure out how to get it to you, you got to promise to buy it. The idea being that if you want to get a store started or a business started, what better way to do that than tell the person who is starting that business that you're going to have business, or you're going to have buyers and sellers. You're going to have a market opening up to you on day one, because we've already did the survey and these people have already promised that they're going to buy from you. And that's why you're starting the store, because you always wanted to start a business, but you were afraid to. The easy way to look at that is I look at it as a person who has always wanted to start a coffee shop, and they're meeting with a bunch of other people on some issue or another. And somehow somebody asks, well, why are we meeting in somebody else's coffee shop? You realize how much money we spend here? We talk about the expensive coffee and a donut or two or whatever. And then people get together and say, well, if you start a coffee shop, we're going to patronize it. We're going to frequent. We'll all go there and get it. And the person who wanted to start the coffee shop says, great, you promised to come. I'll get it. I'll put it together. So that's kind of the idea that I'm getting at. And then the last thing I have for right now is that if we once we get rolling, what we really want to do, or what I would like to see done, is put together an international trademark. In other words, have a trademark so that anybody in the world can locate who we are and our businesses. And of course, we're an international organization. It's an international event thing. So we'll have, hopefully, people all over the world doing this. So anyway, we need an easy way to locate our businesses, with the idea being that we are going to be very ethical businesses. In other words, how many people kind of shudder at having to go to a lawyer or or a plumber or an electrician and going, oh my God, or a mechanic. And so the idea is that to build up a reputation that you are going to get treated well, you're going to get treated fairly, you're going to get treated like family. Once people recognize that that's what we're going to do, all of a sudden it becomes worth their while, no matter where they are. You look around and say, well, I wonder if this trademark is here. So, okay, that's where I'm at. Maybe I went into more detail than I needed to. I don't know, but
Well, thank you, Jack.
that's my story.
Yeah, we appreciate your sharing and all that you brought out. And yes, I'm so excited that we do have a We store, and I'm excited that I am getting ready to participate in that We store with the Peace on Earth tour, shirts and mugs and all kinds of good stuff that people can contribute and put the word out there more about the Peace on Earth tour. I am so grateful to all of you who came on today. And Rick, if you would just share with us on the 11th where people will go to find this wonderful programming that's coming forward for 11 days.
Okay. So the easiest website to remember, and you probably don't even have to write it down, we.net. It's the network of we, think of it that way, we.net, because that will be your gateway to everything. It is 11 Days of Global Unity, and that has its own website, which is 11, like the numeral 11, and then daysofglobalunity.org. So that'll take you right there. You'll see all the different things that are happening. And by the way, Jack's panel, one of the economic justice panels is going to feature an evolutionary economist named Hazel Henderson. Jack, I know you were talking about the other concepts and everything, but that's going to be an incredible panel.
Yeah, I didn't get that in there. I apologize, but I'm glad you are.
Yeah. Hazel has been such a wonderful supporter of We the World and our projects, especially lately something called We Power America. And Hazel will be in conversation with someone named Alexander Laszlo, who is from the Center for the Study of Systems Science. So I just want to mention that. But anyway, you can find everything by just going to we.net. And don't forget, our goal is to inspire, inform, and involve. That's 3 I's that make a we. So we can go from a me society to a we society.
All right.
I love that. Thank you so much, Rick, Sharon, Karen, and Jack for joining us today on Gratitude Happy Hour.
Can I add one more thing here that I forgot to add? Because I got off on that tangent there. But
Okay.
I just want to let the people that are listening to this know that Humanities team has a couple entries on the We Econ Justice. We have a conscious business video that we're going to put on at 7 in the evening. And then earlier in the day at 3, I'm going to interview the person who's kind of the economist of the Humanities team. And it's conscious economy or conscious business, as I mentioned before. And his name is Dr. Larry Clay. So, okay, thanks for letting me add that there.
And thank you, everyone. And to all the listeners out there, we really appreciate you tuning in today and starting on the 11th, which is only a few days away. We hope that you'll tune in. It'll be live streamed on Facebook. Rick, I don't know, is it going to be live streamed on YouTube as well or just Facebook?
Some of the 1 p.m. Eastern time panels will all be on YouTube and Facebook and other websites. We're looking to get it right up on we.net as well, live stream there. and the 11 Days of Global Unity.org. But I think all of the panels will be on the We Campaign Facebook page. So it's just facebook.com/the We Campaign. But again, everything, you can find everything by going through we.net.
Great. And there will be a lot of advertisement between now and the 11th for you to just click on links and go to that. Thank you again for being here. Stay in your heart. Stay blessed. Love you so much. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Teri.
Thank you,
Thank
Teri.
you for being
Good to
here.
see you.
Yeah, thanks,
everybody.
Terry.
Terry.